Okay, so back in May 11, 2010, I published a article on a highly experimental and very much undocumented feature inside of Flash, uh, which is basically an exploit of a feature that Flash does have, which is the ability to support bitmap swatches. And what I'm talking about is that you can take any bitmap from your stage and paint with it as if it was a color. So I'm going to take, for example, this wall here, just drop it into Flash. I'm just going to resize it just so we can see what we're doing a little bit better. And I'm going to break it apart by selecting it and pressing Control B until it's broken apart. Then I can take my eyedropper tool, select it, and paint anything I want with it. So that bitmap is used as a color inside of your shapes. So the cool thing about that also is that you can use the gradient transform tool to adjust the placement, the scale, the rotation, all sorts of nice things with it. And you know, a lot of people have used it, but it's still a very highly underutilized feature in Flash. So not everybody uses it, and not everybody really likes it. The thing that strikes me the most is that for some reason nobody ever thought of just using solid colors. And I'm going to show you, because I can go in here, create a nice little square there, and just fill it with whatever color I want. And this is also a feature that's already in Flash. I can take that swatch and well, you know what, I'm gonna change it to a smaller swatch, because the smaller your swatch is, the less intensive it is on your resources, on the system resources. So I'm going to change it to 12 by 12, and I'm going to right click it and select convert to bitmap. Now keep in mind that you can bring in bitmaps any way you want. You can create all your bitmap swatches in Photoshop, Microsoft Paint. It doesn't matter, okay, as long as it's a bitmap, JPEG or whatever, you know, it's considered a bitmap, PNG file. Bring it into Flash and you're good to go. So I created that bitmap directly inside of Flash, and you can see it here. So this is actually kind of cool, because it lets you also stop thinking of colors in terms of like individual colors that are locked into a specific shape. You know, you can take that bitmap swatch and say, this is going to be my skin color for my character. I can also create, let me see, I'm going to create 3 swatches. I'm going to break these apart. And let's see here, that's green, and that I'm going to use blue. Okay, so I'm going to convert this into another swatch, convert to bitmap, and there we go. So this green one, we're going to call it hair, my character's hair, and this one we're going to call it pants. Alright, we don't need this wall anymore, we're going to delete it. Now watch what happens if I delete a bitmap. Anywhere that bitmap was used is automatically replaced by the color red. That's telling me that it's missing its texture. So if you ever see an item turn red like that, it's because you have somehow lost your bitmap swatch. Alright, so now we go to our library, and just for organizational purposes I can create a folder called colors. I just move all my swatches in there just to keep them nice and out of the way. And I don't really need these on the stage. I mean, I can break them apart and use my eyedropper tool to select from there and start painting. But any bitmap that is in your library is automatically added to your color swatches panel. So it's also automatically available from that swatches panel here. So if I want to paint with this color here, I can just select it from the panel, paint with it, go to this other one, and do the same thing. Alright, so now here's where the cool part is. Okay, because it's a bitmap, I can edit those bitmaps into whatever I want. So I can, if I right click this hair color for example, go to edit with whatever, edit with, select any program that I want. It could be Paint, it could be Photoshop, anything that supports the editing of bitmap files. So here's Photoshop. Once a program has been previously used, Flash remembers it, so you don't have to do that every time. But here's my bitmap, and it's been loaded into Flash. I'm going to basically change the color of that swatch. Hit save. I'm just going to close it. I'm going to minimize this so I can have it available to myself. But notice how the color of that bitmap has been changed to that shade of blue. And if I click on any empty space on my stage, it will refresh that stage, and boom, you can see that everywhere where that bitmap has been used has been automatically modified to reflect the new color. So now let's change this this skin color here. Right click. Because we already used Photoshop in the past, Flash remembers it, so we can just choose it from there. Edit with Photoshop. We're going to choose a different color, fill it in, save. And I like to close my file. You don't have to, but I like to close it just to avoid any errors. You know, click on an empty spot and boom, every place where that bitmap swatch has been used is automatically updated. So it's actually a pretty cool feature, and again, I have to stress that it's still undocumented. It works perfectly fine for Flash animation, but you have to be careful not to lose or accidentally delete your swatches. I have tested this in Crazy Talk, and apparently it does support bitmap fills on your characters. I don't know to what extent, but then again, I must stress that it is undocumented, and you'll use this feature at your own risk. But for the sake of having a proof of concept, I mean, here's the default dummy character that Reallusion provides whenever you you purchase the pipeline version of Crazy Talk Animator. And as you know, every character is composed of literally, a couple hundred individual pieces, maybe not that many, probably over 100. I don't know. It depends on the complexity of your character, I guess. But let's say your client wants you to use something else as as a color or something, and when you want to update something, I mean, you literally have to go in there one at a time, fill it in. And what's going on there? It's locked. Okay, you have to deal with those locked layers. Then I gotta go to the next one. Boom. Alright, so that's 2 pieces down. So, okay, that's 1 more hand down. And guess what? That hand is composed of 11 sprites as well, so I have to go into each one of those individually also. I have to do the face, I have to do the neck, I have to do the upper torso, lower torso, all the legs, the feet, blah, blah, blah. It can get very annoying very fast. So what do? Well, a good idea is that you can treat your character with a bitmap swatch ahead of time. And I've already done some work on these. I don't think I did the legs on this guy. But this particular character uses this skin color here as a bitmap swatch. So notice what happens. Edit with Adobe Photoshop. And let's change his skin tone to something else. Save. Close it. Switch to Flash. Click on an empty spot. Boom. Instant color change on his skin because all those parts already used that same bitmap swatch. So let's say he changes his mind again. He wants an alien this time, so he wants a shade of green. And alright, here I go. I have to do it again. Boom. Change that color. Save. Close. Switch to Flash. Click on an empty spot. Boom. Green character. So, I hope this gives you some ideas to work with. Again, it's a undocumented feature. Apparently, it works inside of Crazy Talk, so it is compatible. But that's just me saying it. I don't work for Reallusion, and they don't have that in their documentation. So don't expect support from them if something goes wrong. So use it at your own risk. But from what I can tell, it works perfectly fine. All right, if you have any other questions about this particular technique, feel free to let me know. Leave some comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And if you're looking to create your own custom characters in Flash, check out Puppet Producer at puppetproducer.com and use promo code, all capital letters, one word, VITPROMO15, and get $15 off. So, all right.